Blessings, everyone. This is Chris Kendall from therawadvantage.com, registered holistic nutritionist, raw food lifestyle coach, and raw chef. Today, we're blessed to have Dr. Doug Graham, author of the 80-10-10 diet, back with us today, continuing a series of I can't do 80-10-10 because. Welcome, Doug. How you doing, man?
There's like every reason under the sun for not being able to do 80-10-10. And they're all good reasons. They're all valid.
Yeah.
And really, I probably should have just kept it to myself and
Yeah.
not told anybody about it in the first place.
Well, I got to say, I'm very happy that you didn't. And I know a lot of other people who are happy that you didn't. And while there could be a lot of reasons, I think that we can look into some various aspects and angles of why you can probably make it work, even if you think you have that reason.
Sure. It's fascinating because you use the word that I like a lot, reason. Okay?
Yeah.
Because if you have a reason,
yeah,
to do something, then you do it. Otherwise, you don't. There's very little that we do for no reason.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to scratch my nose if it doesn't itch. But if it itches, I'll scratch my nose.
Yeah.
And so when people have a reason to do something, what we normally do is weigh the pros and cons, right? Like there's a reason to do something, but there's also a reason to not do that thing.
Yeah.
Or not to do that thing. And so then you go, okay, well, which of those is more important to me, or which do I want to pay attention to?
Yeah.
Eventually we have to look further down and go, okay, what will happen if, which is a human quality that we have to a pretty high degree. We can say, I wonder what would happen if.
Yeah.
And then do the experiment to find out.
Yeah.
Some of those experiments are well worth doing.
Yeah.
And some are not.
No, some are worth just viewing someone else who did them, right? And like, oh, that's what happened. I don't need to do that myself.
Right. Like, so we can learn from other people's mistakes.
Yeah.
Or other people's successes. And we know, for instance, in sport, that if we do what everybody else does, if we train like everybody else trains, we should get at least similar results. Something close, right? If in business, if we apply the same marketing strategies that worked for somebody, those marketing strategies should work for us. Whether and in weight loss, if we do what other people did to lose weight, we should lose weight. So we can look at this point and start to pay more attention to the consequences, to the outcome, and think, okay, there's an interesting thing that happens wherever I've lectured in the world. The organizer of the presentation comes up to me and says before the presentation starts, I don't know how they do things everywhere else, but here things usually start 15 or 20 minutes late.
I like this place.
And it just seems like it's everywhere I've ever been. Things start 15 or 20 minutes late. They're not working
fashionably.
Yeah. And I go, that's great, but I start on time. So you got the people who, and that's, but it's just one of those things. And then the other thing, wherever I've gone in the world, and I haven't been everywhere, but everywhere I've been, people say to me, well, in our society, our people, our cultural pride, it's just normal in our society to eat a lot of meat.
Yeah. Yeah.
And okay, they eat a lot of meat. The meal isn't complete without some meat.
Oh yeah.
Even in some of the poorest places I've been where they don't eat a lot of meat, they still include meat, and the meal is, focused around that bit of meat, and it's kind of like telling me, well, in my culture, we're abusive towards women.
That's what I was just thinking. Yeah. And there are some cultures like that, really.
There are some. I mean, we have a house guest right now from Iran, and fortunately, her mother left Iran when she was a kid, and said, "Get her out of here because this isn't a great place for a woman to grow up. It's just not. It's not how I want my girls to grow up." So, so to me, if I look and I go, "Oh yeah, my parents ate lots of meat," okay, that doesn't mean I have to. I can make my own choices. So when I hear culturally people go, well, I grew up in Chile, and in Chile I would just be an outcast if I didn't eat meat. And I go, well, I don't think anybody else really cares that much what you eat.
Yeah.
I understand, like, it might not be what everybody eats.
Yeah, it might bring up some questions. Maybe some people bring some concern.
You might be the only one in your town.
Yeah.
But so what?
Yeah.
What if a doctor told you that you had a rare condition and you couldn't eat meat? Would you not be able to stay in your town and have the condition? And would you be outcast from society? Forced to leave?
You could say that you were bitten by the Lone Star tick. You hear about that one? Yeah.
I don't know that one.
No, the Lone Star tick. This is a real thing, and it's a growing population in some parts of the United States. That when you get bitten by the tick, instead of getting Lyme, you have a negative reaction from eating red meat. So when you eat red meat after that, you actually get a violent illness and feel really crappy. So it's considered the like vegetarian zombie tick kind of thing. Pretty crazy. So it's a legit thing. Check it out, Lone Star tick. I did a video on it.
Well, so I know, because we hear them all, and you hear about like people with weird physiology, they can't handle fructose, or they've got an intolerance to something that makes it impossible for them to manufacture enough vitamin D, or they're they don't handle. I've met a lot of people who don't handle fats well at all. They just don't handle fats well at all. And all sorts of, I'm going to call it fringe. And I'm not putting a judgment or a connotation on it. I'm just saying, like, if 99 people can enjoy a sunny day and one person can't go out in the sun, does that invalidate that 99 people are enjoying the sunshine?
Does it invalidate the sun itself?
Do we have to do all we can for the one? Yes, we want to do all we can for the one. But we don't make the 99 stay out of the sun.
It depends if that's a political term.
Well, I've been trying to tiptoe around the idea that, a lot of times we're catering to the minority. But in the case of health conditions, first of all, we're all a minority of one. We all have unique health. Our life experiences are unique. And But the majority of things, 2 eyes and 2 ears and
digestive tract.
Yeah, there's so many things about us that you have the same as I have. The numbers come in something like 1.5 million differences between you and I.
Yeah.
If we compare you to me, on average, there's about 1.5 million differences between one person to the next, and more between a male and a female.
Yeah.
If we are still allowed to use those terms.
No.
So, but the similarities between you and I are more than 1 million to 1 over the differences.
Way more.
So I have to customize based on the differences a little bit. I like bananas, you don't like bananas.
Yeah.
I tolerate strawberries, you don't tolerate strawberries, or whatever it might be. I don't breathe. I have breathing issues if I get around certain cats. Not all cats, but I never know.
Yeah.
And other people don't react at all to cats. They can live with cats and be just fine. Okay. If I go to Peru, where they eat a lot of meat and raise a lot of meat and process a lot of meat, and everybody eats meat, I'm not eating meat.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I know you go to Rome, you do like the Romans do, but I'm not eating meat. That stopped working for me anatomically, physiologically, emotionally, logically. It just stopped working for me.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to change my diet just because I go to a location where a lot of meat is eaten.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a thing that I write often. Somebody contacts me about succeeding with 80-10-10.
Yeah.
And then they tell me their litany of challenges. And that's fine. We're going to overcome the challenges. I'm going to help them overcome the challenges. But one of the things that I say is that in every family, even families of one, but in every family, somebody has to be a leader. Somebody has to go first.
Yeah.
So whether that's in every family, every town, every country, somebody had to go first. Like new ideas come out of California. In the United States, new ideas come out of California. 9 out of 10 new ideas come out of California.
Yeah.
And but in every family, somebody's got to lead and somebody's got to go first. And it's usually the mom. She's the
forward thinking.
Especially when it's food and taking good care of ourselves.
Yeah.
It's a mom function. They're strong. Women are amazing. They guide and lead, and it's bless them. So is that putting guilt on the moms in order to get them to succeed? I'm not trying to make them feel guilty.
No.
But I think there is an onus of responsibility on each individual. And you go, okay, so what results do you want? To me, what results I want is, it's like driving a car. I was talking with somebody the other day and they're going like, yes, but it's so restrictive and I want to be able to eat whatever I want to eat. And I go, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Like you can eat whatever you want to eat.
That's so key. I just want to stop you really quick. Please hold that thought. So many times people say like, you can't have this, or that must be so hard. Just that perspective of you can have anything you want. But as you're saying, what results do you want to get? That's paradigm.
There's always going to be consequences. There's just always, you went to the airport, you got on a plane, and you flew to England to come see me. Thank you for that. But you could have got on any plane you wanted.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just wouldn't have come to my local area.
No.
The plane would have took you to someplace else. I get in my car and I can drive wherever I want. But if I'm trying to get to a specific place, like I want to go pick up produce from my produce guy, I have to take certain roads.
Yeah.
Because the other roads don't go there.
Yeah.
So what road do you want to go down?
Yeah.
So I think this is one of those ones that you can shoot down pretty easily.
Yeah.
This is that called the lame duck? It's
Could be, we still like the lame duck, but it's yeah.
People say I can't eat 80-10-10 because everybody around me eats meat.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they need to be shown. Maybe they need somebody to be the light. There's a Pink Floyd song. One small candle lights a corner of the dark.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
One small candle. So I mean, you can be one small candle.
Yeah.
And light one corner of the darkness, and people will see a lot of light. You know, you can see one light from a long way off.
Absolutely.
Look at a night sky.
Yeah. Absolutely.
There's a lot of dark out there in the night sky, but the little dots of light behind the sheet that's being hung in the sky so that they can.
Truman Show.
Yeah. Anyway, so culturally, we eat a lot of meat. Okay, I'm not denying anybody's culture, where you're from.
Yeah.
But society is always changing.
Yeah.
This is a truth. It's nothing to do with me. Society's always changing. Things don't remain the same.
Yeah.
Currently, there's a polarity that's happening, and the people who are taking worse care of themselves are taking worse care of themselves than ever.
Yeah.
But the people taking good care are taking better care than ever.
Yeah.
And you have the opportunity to join that group and become one of the people who's taking better care of themselves than ever, which will require you to make small changes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of change just for the sake of it, but I do like doing an experiment.
Yeah.
And I'm not threat. If somebody told me I have to give up meat forever, I would feel the threat.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if they said, would you do an experiment and maybe not eat meat for a week and see how it went?
Yeah.
You know, let's focus on fruits and vegetables for a week and just see if you like the results.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I told you the time I switched cars and drove my friend's Cadillac for a week.
I don't recall that actually. No.
So I had a Honda that was so old that, you know, it walked. It didn't even run.
Yeah, you're like Freddie Flintstone.
Yeah, it was bad. And a friend of mine actually went away for a month, and he didn't want to leave his Cadillac sitting in the driveway for a month because he had 4 of them. So he gave each one to a different friend. And I was one of the people who got a Cadillac for a month.
Yeah.
In the course of that entire month, I did not miss my Honda once.
No.
I had no pangs of, gee, I really miss my Honda. So I think, if you try 80-10-10 for a month and see if you like it, if it actually works better than what you were doing, if you feel more energy, you have easier digestion, your tummy's happier, your mind gets clearer, your skin stops breaking out, or there's some there's some easy weight loss, or your balance gets better, or your coordination, your use of words, you don't trip over your tongue so much, you wake up feeling more alert and alive. Whatever happens, if something good happens and it's working better, excuse me, and it's working better than what you were doing, that might provide its own incentive to do an experiment for another week or another month or another season or another year.
Yeah. That's what happened with me, I tell you. I couldn't deny it. I couldn't deny it.
So I don't know. Are there people who can't eat fruits and vegetables? I've heard about people who can't eat meat, not just from that tick.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Not just from that tick. I mean, I had a friend in high school who, when he had his daughter, I called him actually. We were talking, but his daughter was 4, and he was explaining to me about this terrible health condition she had where the only thing she could eat was fruits and vegetables.
It's horrible.
And I go, wow, that's just what I eat.
Yeah. Sounds perfect. Is she a human being, possibly?
Yeah. Everything else made her sick. And we go, well, yeah, it makes every kid sick.
Yeah.
But she reacted a little bit more, but good for her. She got to start on fruits and vegetables.
Yeah.
So to me, I just go, I don't think there's a culture where they don't have fruits and vegetables. There's no culture where they don't have it.
Yeah. Maybe Eskimos.
Well, yeah. Okay.
sorry. I had to poke.
That's interesting.
They don't live that long or have robust health, though.
No, before we intervened, the average age of an Eskimo death was 39.
Yeah.
Of osteoporosis a lot of the times. I mean, it's hard to get osteoporosis to the point of it being deadly. In
I guess that much acidic food, right? Or acid.
Yeah, that much acidic food. But it reminds me of the story of Thor. I've told the story of Thor before, but he was a client of mine back in the early 90s who fasted with me for a digestive disturbance, a serious Crohn's. He was scheduled to have his colon removed. Thanks. And chose to go through a fasting program instead. And I won't tell that whole story, but he got to a point when we were getting ready to go home. He was getting ready to go home, and he said, I got a problem. I go, what's the problem? He goes, this diet is working perfect for me. I've got tons of energy. My digestion is perfect. It's all great. He goes, but when I go home, I mean, I'm only going to be able to get the standard Norwegian food that I got, that made me sick.
Yeah.
And I go, well, why is that? And he goes, well, you just can't buy all these fruits and vegetables in Norway. And I go, really? That's interesting. I said, you know what? When you go home, I think you're going to be surprised. Yeah. But let me know, and if it's a problem, we'll work it out. So he goes home and he calls me up 48 hours after he gets home, and he goes, Doc, you would not believe it. I was with you for 3 months. And in those 3 months, they've put up fruit and vegetable stands on every corner of the city. I mean, they're everywhere. He was so happy. And I was going, you never looked for them.
No.
You never saw them. You didn't notice they were there. But they've been there all along.
Yeah. It's amazing how that is the truth, right? As soon as you start really paying attention, things are there that you don't notice.
Things are there. There's a lot going on, and there's a lot available. Fruits and vegetables are available everywhere.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm going to say somebody has to go first, take the responsibility to lead, do the experiment, be willing to see, if the results are good.
Yeah.
But if you don't have a reason to do it, that's stronger than your reason to not do it.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Then you'll focus on your reason to not do it. You just go, okay, no. Can't do it in my country. I'm happy. Can't do it in my country. I'm going to continue doing what I have been doing.
I want to reinforce that. I just want to really reinforce that not only if it's stronger than that reason, but if you have more reasons, right? It's just accumulating reasons why you're doing it, connecting with people who are doing it and finding out their reasons and reminding yourself of why you're doing it, right? Like, you can all come up with 1 or 2 or 3 that maybe makes it hard, but there's going to be a multitude of reasons why we do it if we look, just like if we're looking for fruit.
Yeah, I'm a fruit seeker.
Yeah, yeah, that could be a good song. The
I'm a,
AC/DC Heat Seeker, Fruit Seeker.
I am a fruit seeker. So I'm going to go with, I don't think there's a place where you can't do 80-10-10.
Yeah,
I got people doing 80-10-10 north of the Arctic Circle.
yeah,
They live north of the Arctic Circle, and they're doing 80-10-10.
yeah,
And people living in the desert doing 80-10-10, and people living in the mountains doing 80-10-10. They find a way. They
yeah,
find a way.
yeah,
And oddly enough, a lot of times they have access to things that I don't even have access to, or at different times of year have
yeah,
specialty items that I don't find. So I'm a pretty firm believer that 80-10-10 is not only appropriate for everyone,
yeah,
raw, vegan, 80-10-10, appropriate for everyone, but available for everyone to do it if they choose to do it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I'd agree. I mean, I could say that maybe someone could put themselves in a position like go out to the wilderness and have a harder time, but but as long as it's an important thing in your life and you're seeking fruit and all that good stuff, then I totally agree. Everywhere I've traveled in the world, I've been able to do it. And I've traveled a heck of a lot to a lot of different locations.
Yeah, good for you, Chris. And I'm glad you're so motivated to do it. And the results speak for themselves, and the results provide their own motivation to continue. Like
Absolutely.
it worked so well yesterday that I'm going to work it again today.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've met some people who they felt the benefits, but then they tried to find a way back, a way back to their old lifestyle that would work as good. They took a deviation, but then they're like, you know what? I'm coming back there because it just works better. It's impossible to deny, and that's what I hear again and again and again, and that's why more and more people grow in this family.
Well, we want our Christmas party to get bigger every year.
Yeah, yeah,
Our
absolutely.
our raw vegan Christmas party, we want it to get bigger every year.
Yeah, as well as the produce section of every single market around the world and the fruit stands on every other corner. It's only going to come if we keep asking for it.
Well, demand creates supply.
Yeah, yeah,
Demand creates supply every single time.
yeah. And I'm seeing it grow. I mean, I know, and we've talked about this before, but in my 20 years of really focusing on fruit as the mainstay of my lifestyle, or really big part, I've seen it grow everywhere I've gone, and I'm sure in your plus 45 plus years, more than that, you've probably seen it grow in leaps and bounds everywhere you've been.
Yeah. Well, that's what fruit does. It grows.
Yeah, it does. It's true. It grows, it multiplies, and it spreads.
It grows on you.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Well, yes, I have. I had a kind of an interesting thing happen 2 years ago. I ended up in 3 or 4 major metropolitan areas during the course of a few weeks of summer.
Yeah.
And I was in Denver, and I was in Manhattan, a couple other cities. I was in London, and in each of them, it had been the first time that I'd been in that city for a while.
Yeah.
I had been there before, but it had been 5 or 6 or more years.
Yeah.
And the prolific growth of certain words in the windowsills, in the windows of the shops, right?
Yeah.
I saw the word raw food posted in windows so many places, so many health food shops. I saw vegan and vegan friendly and vegan approved stickers in so many shops. I saw organic, like there were so many vegan, organic, raw food, juices. Those were the 4 things that I saw. So I would say in Manhattan, it was like a 10 times as much explosion.
Yeah.
In Denver, there was at least 5 times as much as I had seen the previous time I'd been in Denver. And it was just like, wow, it's everywhere now.
Like California out here now.
You really can't go anywhere and not just bump into lots and lots and lots. Yeah, like it's like became like California was, and California is more now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the raw fruit and vegetable awareness, the benefits, it's definitely on the rise.
Man, I was blown out of the water when I first came here to Sweden, near a decade ago, maybe 8 years ago. And I went into a grocery store and there was entire vegan sections of big letters like vegan, and now I'm seeing that in other places too. But wow,
Now you see it in grocery stores.
Yeah, it's
There's
awesome.
a raw food section in most grocery stores, and yeah, it's fast food, but there's raw food sections, and there's vegan, there's vegan milk, and there's vegan, it's being promoted in almost every aisle of the grocery store. There's vegan alternatives to whatever it is they're selling in that aisle. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. And that could be a really fun subject for another video sometime, talking about vegan alternatives and the narrative of some different special interest groups trying to say it's conspiracy and veganism is this and that. So everyone, if you're here, if you've listened this far, thank you so much for enjoying and being here with us. And if you want to hear about that topic, let us know in the comments below, because maybe we'll make a video about that in the future too.
I wouldn't be a bit surprised if there's vegan in almost every aisle of a grocery store these days.
Yeah. No, I would say so. Yeah, I would absolutely say so. Some don't say it. Some don't say it, but a lot are monopolizing on the word, just like the protein word it sells.
Well, I mean, so many of the items that are in the store have always been, I mean, can of tomatoes was just a can of tomatoes, right? But now
Oreos.
It's vegan.
Oreos are, you probably knew that.
Yeah, Oreos are vegan.
Yeah.
And you go into the frozen department, and there's frozen peas and frozen carrots and frozen corn and frozen, right? It's like a lot of frozen vegetables. There's a lot of vegan stuff that nobody ever thought of it as being vegan necessarily. But even in the raw vegan world, I mean, there's the produce market in my town, the produce area of my local grocery store recently doubled.
Awesome.
It was one aisle, now it's two.
Yeah.
And that's a big commitment to more produce. I mean, why? It can't even be their big money maker, because it's not.
Yeah.
But it's now twice as big as it used to be. And I think that's a sign of the times. We're going to see more and more of that.
Yeah, well, I think there's more perceived and more real need, right, to live healthier and to get better results and to match the pace of the world. But
so, as Arlo Guthrie said, be the first one on your block.
There we go.
Be the first one on your block to be the raw vegan leader in your community. Be willing to be different if that's what's required to get the health results and the performance results and the mental clarity results that you want to have. If you want to go 80-10-10, there's every reason to do so. And if you want to come up with excuses, well, that's fine. But if you want to come up with reasons to do 80-10-10, we'll give you lots more over the coming weeks.
Absolutely. Well, I just want to thank you, because you gave me a reason, you gave me a clarity, and I took it on and grew in my reasons, and it's worked really dang well for me, nearing 2 decades now. And if you guys are wanting to learn more, I absolutely recommend you read the 80-10-10 diet, because without really having a sound game plan and all the information, you're more likely to come up with some other reasons, right, and not have clarity. So get that clarity, reach out, connect with people who are like-minded. There are loads of people on the internet. Dr. Doug Graham at foodnsport.com. That's food, the letter N, sport.com. Myself, the Raw Advantage. And always a pleasure, Doug. Really, really appreciate you and all you're doing. Is there anything you want to leave us with?
Really a treat to spend time with you. I look forward to the next time we get together.
Awesome. Well, you'll see more, guys. This is just one of the videos in the series, and we're going to do more. So, as always, wishing you much peace, love, and seasonal fruit. You got anything for us, Doug?
Up your game, man, and up your health, Chris.
There we go. Love it, brother. Thank you. See you guys.
Providing clarity on 80-10-10 with Dr. Douglas Graham.
Ooh, don't forget to check out my raw recipes playlist in the top left, the video just for you in the top right, subscribe for more videos in the bottom right, and get your 3 free ebooks in the bottom left. Grab your free raw recipe app available on iPhone and Android with over 100 free raw recipes, common fruit and vegetable calorie breakdown, frickin' raw food combining chart, shopping cart function, and so much more.